the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudo, AJ, and Jesse coming at you. As we now know, Nathan MacKinnon is going to miss at least, well, not necessarily at least, give or take was the official term, 3 weeks, according to Jared Bednar. There are also some other swirling questions about Sam Girard leaving practice with a potential injury and that being unclear. So everything is on fire and the Avs are burning down actively at the moment when it comes to injuries.
According to my mentions, someone said the season's over. They got the worst goal in the division, and these injuries after every game just cancel the remaining 72 games?
Back it up, boys.
Yeah.
Done.
Let's just keep cashing our checks. We'll go do something else for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
We'll go hang out in Arizona.
Yeah, let's go. That sounds good to you guys. The Avs season is over, so I'm down with that.
Oof. Yeah, the Avs season is over. Arizona has a 1-win team right now, but
jump.
We can go hang out with them, I guess.
That jump. Honestly, no one should be anywhere near a cliff. We're 2 minutes into this show, and I know we're going to get into all this, but like everybody needs to chill the F out. Like it's fine. It's fine. You're 10 games into the season. You're fighting through some injury problems. The Pittsburgh Penguins have been without Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Jeff Carter. The list goes on and on and on, and they are not burning everything to the ground. Everybody chill out.
Yeah,
We're not without Jeff Carter. That dude showed up last night and showered himself in Welch's fruit snacks. Okay,
Welch's fruit snacks.
Yeah, that's his shit.
Really?
All right. Again. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, we should just cancel the season. We need to get you a new mic.
Yeah, true.
Kelly, we'll try again.
I don't think it's the mic, man. I think it's an old-ass computer.
All right, pony up for a new one. Ooh, it could be a ghost. I like this theory.
I don't think the ghost is messing with my USB ports. I don't know a whole lot about the spiritual realm, fellas, but I don't know. I don't think that's.
Look, man, if I
feel like it closes my door, my bathroom door every once in a while, and that's okay. But I don't know. I don't know about him messing with my USB stuff.
Do you remember those couple shows that we were doing a few years ago where we had to, like, your mattress, like flipped? Something crazy happened with your bed, like mid-show, and I was like, I'm not even comfortable talking to you on the other end of this computer right now.
Gonna get infected by the ghosts.
Yeah. I was like, he's gonna reach through the USB port. It's all making sense now.
It's gonna happen.
Coming after you. Well, right now, the Avs could shake the injury ghost a little bit. It would probably help them. But the reality is, what we know for sure is they're without MacKinnon for roughly the next 3 weeks. The replacement is pretty straightforward, right? You just move Kadri up to the top line. Yes? No?
I think they're going to start with Comfer there.
You think they go Comfer first? That's it's a weird spot, right? Because Kadri has been successful this season in the position that he's in.
Yeah, with line mates that change every game, might as well put him on the top line.
With line mates that change every game, but at the same time, if you put him on the top line, he's going to be going against tougher competition. Now, you don't really have a better center to put in that spot without Nathan MacKinnon. So that part of it is a little bit of a it's tough to balance. We'll put it that way. It certainly seems like there's going to be potentially more opportunity for Alex Newhook to find his way to center somewhere in this lineup, though.
Put him there.
Put just 1C. Do what chat wants and YOLO the 1C.
Yeah. What does it matter?
I'd honestly, I'd be willing to bet that he at least gets a couple shift looks there.
Yeah, I mean,
if nothing else,
I have no doubt they'll double shift the heck out of Rantanen and Landeskog. Anytime anyone's injured, they do it with MacKinnon down the lineup. So, would not surprise me one bit to see a number of guys get shifts with the top two forwards. But ultimately, the lineup. Are we expecting something to solidify here, or are we expecting full blend?
I think eventually they'll find something that they. I think it's Kadri. I think Kadri
Okay.
will be the guy there, and I think that they'll just roll that. And then I think that Comfort probably gets the shot at that 2C, and then Newhook is the wild card. How does he play?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I really do. I think if Newhook, if he comes out and he plays the type of game that he's shown his entire career he plays, if he's putting pucks in the net, if he's creating opportunities, I think he'll get a shot at least somewhere up in the lineup. I'm not sure if he'll end up in that Nathan MacKinnon spot at any point over the next couple of weeks, but yeah, I think they're going to try a few different looks. I really do. I mean, going purely based off practice the last couple of days, JT Compher's gotten. It looks like he's going to get first crack at that spot. Don't know how long it sticks, but I think that's where they start.
Okay. So the other side of this conversation, then, look, it's not what anyone wants to hear, but Nathan MacKinnon having an injury that is only 3 weeks, really not that bad.
Yeah. Given that it's a give or take,
maybe it ends up being 4 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was going
to go the other way. I was going to be optimistic and go down to
never with injuries. That's
illegal.
Look,
if it's 3 weeks, you're talking about December. We're talking about December 1st being the first time that they get their lineup together, and that's assuming
Gerard's fine.
Absolutely nothing happens between now and then.
Yep.
You know, like there's
all
3 weeks. 3 weeks. Like if you just look at 3 weeks in a vacuum, it's not that long. But season's already 4 weeks old. So
yeah, I mean, you are where you are. You can only go forward, but it's not like the Avs are all of a sudden out of MacKinnon for the season or something like that.
Sure, but you're talking. I mean, they have not had to do this yet. They have not had to try and find a way for an extended period of time without Nathan MacKinnon.
It's definitely a hill for them to conquer. Over the last 2 years, it's kind of been the opposite thing, right? They've had MacKinnon have to lead them during stretches without Rantanen or Landeskog and get the job done. Now it's the other way around, where the team needs to step up and find ways to win without Nathan MacKinnon. Look, it's a relatively good time in the schedule as far as the quality of teams that they're going to be playing. It's a time in the schedule where we've talked about it for the last couple of shows. They have to start winning games with a regularity. MacKinnon out or not, they might have an excuse now, but at the end of the day, that excuse doesn't mean anything. They have to find a way to win.
Yeah, honestly, for me, this man, could I end up eating these words here in 3 weeks? But like, this is something that this team needs. Where hey, you don't have the guy to come bail you out. You have to go earn these wins. Everyone's got to be skating. Everyone's got to be pulling the rope in the same direction. He hasn't played particularly great to start the season, but you don't have that Nathan MacKinnon, cushion to fall back on that. Oh, well, Nate can just go out there and dominate. No, you need guys to step up. You need guys to come up through the lineup. I think this could be something that ends up being good for them. And yeah, I know, like I said, I could end up eating these words here in just a couple of weeks, but this could be something that they need to. This is something they need to rally around, and you hope that they, harness that energy in the right way and put it towards actually, showing up with some effort and kind of showing, hey, we are a really good team, right? That's what everyone's talked about with this team for the last couple of years. Is the depth, is that they're no longer just a one-line team. Having Nathan MacKinnon and Mikko Rantanen it's great. They add so much, but your depth is supposed to be able to shine through. And to me, that should still be one of the storylines of this week. You're getting a lot of that depth back. Down your lineup, you have a lot of your main contributors back. They need to step up as well. Even if Nathan MacKinnon was in the lineup, you need those guys to step up as well. Spotlight definitely shifts to Mikko Rantanen. If you go look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, they've started to turn things around, and it is almost exclusively because their top guys, their highest paid guys,
Mitch Marner started scoring for him. Yeah.
Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, John Tavares. There was a stat just a couple nights ago before their game with LA where 10 consecutive goals were scored by that group of guys right there. That's what the Avs need. They need those top guys to start firing. And then you need some of your depth to start coming through. And I still think they'll be fine.
Yeah. It's an interesting conversation, right? Because obviously, certainly our podcast has been pretty vocal that Mac has not played his best. He has only one goal. So from that regard, doesn't feel like the Avs are losing a lot of goal scoring there. MacKinnon's shooting like 4% this year. The other side of that conversation is he's got 10 points on the season. He still was finding ways to be productive, even if it wasn't in the critical moments that we're used to seeing MacKinnon be productive in. He was still getting his points. And the Avs need someone to produce those points. Now, Gabe Landeskog has 10 points on the season. Nazim Kadri has 10 points on the season. JT Compher has found his way to 9 points on the season. You get those three guys continuing to produce at the rates they've been, and then you add in Mikko Rantanen being healthy and putting it together. This doesn't seem like an impossible task for the Avalanche. It does not seem like it should be that hard for them to survive without Nathan MacKinnon and even rattle off a number of wins. So what are our expectations for this team without Nathan MacKinnon over the next 3 weeks? A lot of people were saying, they really should win 5 out of their next 6. Is that still the goal here?
Could be.
Okay. So essentially no change in what they need to get done.
I think that the Avs have to throw in the bin who they've been the last few years, and they have to do everything they can to become the Dallas Stars
until
the New York Islanders. Back. Lean into your strength right now. Play to your strength. Your strength right now, the heart of your team, the most talented part of your team is your defense and your starting goaltender. Lean into that. Try and win 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Cale Makar's coming back. Even if Sam Girard misses tomorrow, it doesn't sound like that's a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And you get Sam Girard, Devon Taves, Bowen Byram, Cale Makar, Eric Johnson. If you finally get those 5 guys healthy, that's the heart of your team. That's your strength. Play into that. Be that.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're just surviving this. Like, you just have to find a way to look. We were talking yesterday. They're getting healthy. This and that. They got to go on a run here. That's out the window, man. You need to be. You need to survive Nathan MacKinnon's injury. If you're 500 and you still have a puncher's chance at the end of this, it's fine.
Okay.
Like you give yourself a chance if you go 500. If you go under 500, it's going to get harder and harder and harder because it's already December at that point. And then who knows what injuries happen between now and then, what the lineup looks like when MacKinnon does come back. Can't just automatically assume at this point that it's just going to be healthy. I mean, we don't know what it looks like. But use the strength of your team. It should be defense. Just lock it down. Play great defense, and you no longer have that ace up your sleeve of having the world class elite center to lead you.
Yeah, definitely.
So you got to find a different way. You got to find a different way. You got to find a different path. You got to get comfortable with a different personality, a different mode of winning here.
Well, and there's no reason they shouldn't be able to lean on their defense, right?
Yeah.
It's a defense we've talked about that could and should be one of the best, if not the best in the league.
When it's healthy, it should be the best defense in the league.
Yep.
So
just on paper, should just be the best defense in the league. Sam Girard's got to play better. Cale Makar's got to play better. But the way that Byram has played, if Javon Taves can just be who he was last year, like we know that the ceiling for the defense is absurdly high.
Yeah,
and
you don't even need you just get close to it. Just you don't got to touch God. Just get close to it.
And that's honestly my thing. I still do, even without Nathan MacKinnon. I think this team is good enough that, especially given the strength of their schedule and the amount of games and stuff they're playing this month, they should be a good stretch. They should still be able to come out of this month over 500. In my opinion, I think they still have the ability to come out of this month well over 500. But obviously losing Nathan MacKinnon hurts that. But no, I fully agree with AJ. You got to find a different way to do it. You're gonna have to lean on your D. You're gonna need some production from your D. You're gonna need those key contributors who are still in your lineup up front to pick up the scoring pace a little bit. But no, I agree with AJ for the most part that you're gonna have to change up the way that you're doing this a bit. But a winning record for this month should still absolutely be the expectation. And I think they got the ability to do it if they can make some adjustments.
All right. So I guess we'll get into that question in a second. If you want to numb the pain, go get Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. You can get 8 different kinds on tap down at the DNVR bar, and check out your local liquor store for a bunch near you. You can use their online Breck Beer Locator if you want to see exactly what they have in and around your area. Once you've done that, be sure to hit up the Ball Corporation, as they are hiring right now. You can get yourself a job down at their Golden Plant if you text jobs to 77222 or go to jobs.ball.com. They have a great work culture where you get, first of all, paid a living wage. So that's a great start in and of itself. They have good benefits. And specifically when it comes to having holes in your resume, if you need to take a class to help fill something out, they will help you get all hooked up with that. So they have comprehensive insurance, and they also have a 401k retirement plan. So they got you totally covered, even stock purchase ownership program. So whatever you want your benefits to be with Ball, they can hook you up with that. Again, hit up jobs.ball.com for an application. Yeah, that's the word. An application to see what jobs they have out there for you. Also, we do have a watch party coming tomorrow at the DNVR bar. So come on down. Come watch the Vancouver game with us. Should be a fun time, even if it is without MacKinnon. Still feeling pretty good about the Avs, as everyone has said here. Surviving without Nathan MacKinnon means that they should be over 500. Means they should probably still beat teams like Vancouver. So come have a good time down at the DNVR bar. Come say hi to us. Have a chat. Always fun with Avs people in the house at the DNVR bar. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. So, I want to get into the Maltsev conversation a little bit here. Is there any expectation that the Avs may bring up another player, or are they just going to run Sherwood and Magna in the lineup with Nathan MacKinnon out?
They should bring up Maltsev.
Sure. I understand what they should do, or at least what we think they should do. But what will they do?
Probably just see what happens.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're just going to roll with it for at least the immediate.
Yeah, that would not come as a particularly big surprise to anyone, I think. Some of the part of this that has me concerned is that bottom six, right? We've already talked about the lack of production that has come from there. And now you're talking about moving guys up in the lineup because you have to with MacKinnon out. How do you find that production? Is it really does all of that production in your bottom six fall squarely on the shoulders of Alex Newhook dropping in and being an engine for them?
No, because I mean, here's the other thing that the Nathan MacKinnon injury in the last day is Like they've still gotten 3 guys back in the lineup this week. This week, that are 4 guys back this week that are all players that play in the top of your lineup. Like Nathan MacKinnon comes out, it's a huge hole to fill. But again, even just the way it's configured at practice, you plug in JT Compher there, you still have a third line that you feel all right about with Tyson Jost, Logan O'Connor, Alex Newhook. You got a second line that's got Nazim Kadri, Andre Burakovsky. Like you've still got good depth. That is my point. Like, I just don't understand. I'm actually getting like annoyed at the way that people are treating this right now. You're 10 games in. You're definitely facing some adversity here. You've got your top guy out of the lineup. This is still a really deep, really talented team that has gone through a below average 10-game stretch. Seriously, they rattle off even 3 wins in a row, and everyone feels completely different. Like it's not like you are that far out of, any of these conversations that losing Nathan MacKinnon craters the season with 72 games to go. Like I think this is where everything that Joe Sakic has put together over the last several years, it's time for it to start coming through. You're in a little bit of a hole in the standings, a little bit, and you're missing the what is normally the engine of your team. They have targeted high character leadership guys that have been around the league and have been impact players. They've got depth. They've got guys in the lineup that are there to handle these types of moments. You're never feeling good when Nathan MacKinnon's out of the lineup, but like, I'm just not at that point where it's like, oh, this is all terrible. Everything's horrible. They still have an offensive lineup before you even get to, Cale Makar, Bowen Byram, Devon Taves, who are all going to be point producers as well. You need the guys in the lineup to start. Everybody needs to start playing to their ability. That has been the problem. Their problem is that you have a bunch of guys that are underperforming right now. And that's not because of Nathan MacKinnon. You finally have a lot of your guys that are back in appropriate spots in the lineup. You need those guys to get to the level that they can be at. And that's exactly what this team has been built. This is exactly what this team has been built for. Able to handle injuries. You've got the depth. You've got the skill. You just need guys to play to their ability.
All right. 2 questions. First question. Were injuries what we were expecting the Tower card to look like this year?
Sure.
Second question. AJ, when you said that the Avs were broken, did you realize that you meant that literally?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, the word fractured may end up coming back and biting us all in the ass.
Right now, the Avs certainly struggling to stay healthy, to say the least. But look, with this lineup, how it is, I guess the next thing we can look at is power play 1. Do you just drop both Kadri and Compher on it? End up running Landeskog, Rantanen, Kadri, Compher, and Makar?
Yep.
They've had Berkey there the last couple days.
Berkey's also fine.
Berkey up there, leave Kadri on PP2. Sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. That functions. What does PP2 look like then?
Who cares? Don't put him on the ice.
All right.
I'm actually not kidding. Don't put him on the ice. Run the top unit for 2 minutes, and then the last 30 seconds, get ready to go back to even strength. Just a waste of time.
Are you just saying that because PP2 has been that bad this year?
No, because I mean, it's with MacKinnon out. If you put Berkey up on that top, I mean, it's decimated. You're running it with like Newhook and Jost and Nichushkin. And why? Just leave your top unit out there.
I guess to the point that you kind of called out the other day, I don't know if it was actually on the pod, of that top unit's the one that ends up drawing a lot of penalties. And so they are in kind of this really weird, like they keep finding themselves in this like really weird gray area. Cause
then call your timeout.
I mean, you only have one.
Great.
Oh my God. Great.
I mean,
call your one timeout and just say, Can we use it in like 10-second chunks so we can space
Yeah,
it
just
out to 3?
call your timeout if you're that worried about it. Like, call your timeout. I mean, you don't have a good alignment right now. You don't have a good option. Like, oh, you gotta have it. Why do you have to have a PP2 right now? You don't have to. There's nothing that says you got to do this.
Yeah, but I mean, if you get your, if Mikko Rantanen is the one that gets tripped up at the end of the fucking 80-second shift.
Look, if you're asking for production from players that you haven't expected a ton from yet, PP2 is the place to get it, right? In my opinion. And I get it. If you can put PP1 out there, yeah, you're going to put your best players out there. That should be the case always. It already is for the most part. But you can't always do that. You can't just play your top line players for 40 minutes a night. It's just not realistic.
It's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying you don't need to mess around with the PP2. You just don't need to.
I don't know if I'm buying that story.
Yeah, I was gonna say I disagree with that one.
You just don't need to. It's not doing. I mean,
I
it scored the other day. That was cool. Again, it helps that Elvis Merzlikins just decided that he was done moving.
Wasn't technically a power play goal either, but
was it right after?
Yeah.
That,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
so it's essentially a power play goal.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean, it just doesn't. I don't think it matters. We've watched Alex Ovechkin play the full 2 minutes of a power play for 10 years. I get that that's one guy versus 5.
Well, I was gonna say,
But I'm saying, like, this is
the entire power play.
But I'm saying, like, you just don't need to do that.
Well, and so here's the other thing too, man. Like it'd be different if PP1 was, running at like a 50% clip right now. They haven't been very good either. What do they have to have 2 power play goals on the season?
It's not good. Yeah.
Like, to me, like, you're sitting there saying, who cares about PP2 right now? Who cares about PP1? They both suck. Like, I don't know. I just, for me, if your first unit and the other issue is that first unit has had a hard time even
power play goals. Just
4. Okay.
I was also curious. I knew they had at least 3, but I didn't know how many more than that.
10.5%, by the way.
Yeah.
And like that first power play unit has had times struggling. They've had times where they've struggled to gain the zone even. And if you're chasing the puck up and down for the first 60 seconds of a power play, why would that unit stay out there? Like you need to, in my opinion, you need to get your second unit figured out. I think Newhook maybe helps.
Why?
Because that's literally what he's been good at his entire
second unit
career.
I mean, the second unit doesn't score very much anyway. Even
that's why I said I think Alex Newhook's
like across a full season. I mean, when they're healthy, I don't have an issue with this because they've got the guys to make this work.
We should drop lines 2, 3, and 4 while we're at it. Just run those top guys with Cale Makar and Bowen Byram. 60 minutes. Who cares anyways? Guys down lineup aren't really producing anyways.
I mean, it's not. You're talking about you're getting them out there for at most 45 seconds.
Yeah.
For your second unit.
It's trying to converge these arguments a little bit.
I just don't see the point of
for
it
the Avs power play, regardless of PP1 or PP2. The only guy that's consistently getting them into the zone was Nathan MacKinnon.
Yep.
They have
they've got Comfer and Burakovsky as the entry guys because Cale Makar won't just go because they keep telling him to drop it. How about Cale Makar fake that drop pass again and just go get the zone?
Don't even fake the drop pass. Just go get the zone.
Just drop it. Just dump it in.
Yeah.
Like dump it in and go win a foot race. You built your whole identity around team speed.
Yep.
Go win a foot race. If they're going to all stand up at the blue line, which is how teams defend their power play right now, throw it in over their head and make them go from a standing position, turn around and skate. You've got the advantage. Do that.
That I agree with.
I'm happy with that. I think you do see the Avs get caught standing at the blue line themselves a little bit too often. And they don't enter the zone with any speed then, right? You see the drop pass back to MacKinnon, and MacKinnon gets the zone with speed by himself, but it's 3 dudes standing at the blue line waiting for him to do that instead of
all with their backs to the net.
Yeah, even one guy doing a simple circle back and entering the zone with speed is all you need. It's not anything super complicated, right?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't need a huge change. It just needs a wrinkle.
Yep.
They actually they had a couple different looks that it seemed like they were working on with zone entries yesterday when they did some power play work. It just that drop pass has just become so widely used across the NHL that
every team does it. All 32 teams do it.
And everybody defends it. Everybody that's when power plays are getting work in practice for every team, every penalty kill is getting work on that drop pass. It is just not, I'm not an NHL coach, but I just can't believe that there isn't a more effective zone entry there. I get it. You're not wanting to always dump the puck and potentially give up possession. But I guarantee there is more than one look to possess the puck across the blue line.
Well, skating through 4 dudes isn't the answer either.
Right.
And that's why they've learned. You just stand up at the blue line and you just throw the sticks, you throw the knees, you do whatever you can to keep them from physically possessing the puck. And
I mean, you've seen teams
just dump it, just throw it in a couple of times, and you'll be okay.
You've seen teams
get right back to using it.
Look, we know that the drop pass works, right? Without getting into this argument, it's not where I want to go with it. Where I want to go with it is you can't use the drop pass every time, because right now you have teams against the Avalanche have their high forward cheating all the way into the Avs zone. Like the couple of plays against Columbus, whether it was Makar or Byram or Gerard, would turn back to drop pass it. See, they literally couldn't, because the guy is literally waiting there like, please drop pass it to me and I will have a shorthanded breakaway. Thank you. So they have so aggressively moved to playing the Avs a certain way that the Avs have to do something different just to keep teams honest at this point. There is no brute forcing your way through it. Just switch things up, even if it's for a couple of power plays or a couple of games. If you keep teams honest, they can't do some of those things that prevent the Avs from running what they want to run.
Well, the effectiveness in that excuse me, that drop pass play, especially when the Avs first started running it years ago, was Tyson Barrie's coming up the ice, and the threat was supposed to be, hey, this guy with the puck can skate it into the zone. He can make a play and gain the blue line. So it was supposed to draw attention, and then you drop it to someone coming with much more speed. Rudo, to your point, nobody's being drawn in by that first guy anymore. Everybody knows that it's just waiting for the trailer to come with speed. And it's just the effectiveness of it just is not there. And
right
again,
now,
this isn't necessarily just an Avs problem.
As it's currently being defended, the Avs entry makes no difference if it's a drop pass or if they just give MacKinnon the puck behind the net and tell him to go. And I know MacKinnon's out now, but the drop pass isn't accomplishing anything because teams are playing the drop pass, right? And all it takes to get teams to not play the drop pass again is 1 or 2 games of Cale Makar, Bowen Byram, whoever, just going hard.
Use the drop pass. Just dump it in.
Sure.
Instead of trying to skate through all the guys who are standing at the blue line, just dump it in. Just throw it in over their head.
You need to get them moving backwards a little bit. The defense, that is.
You need to get them off the blue line.
Yep.
I mean, the drop pass isn't the problem. It's when they hit center ice. The drop pass isn't. The drop pass gives a guy the whole thing is that it gives a puck carrier with speed options to enter the zone. That's all it is. It's not complicated. But when they all stand up at the blue line and you skate right into them, you take away your own options. If you just throw it in over their head a few times, they start to respect that. Especially if they lose it, if they lose the battle for those pucks. If you throw it in over their head and they go and retrieve it, throw it out of the zone, well, that didn't work either. And that feels bad too.
Even if it doesn't work, though, it's at least it plants the seed in the back of their head, like that's an option for you, right? Like,
I mean, they see it a couple of times and they're saying, "Hey, this isn't what we scouted. We need to adjust to this."
Yeah.
I'm saying all it has to do is just work a couple of times. Because if it doesn't work, then they're just going to keep doing what they're doing, saying, "Hey, we're fine if you guys dump it." That's why you have to dump it into the corner. You can't dump it in behind the net. Let the goaltender make a play. You've got to force them to skate to it and go do something. So you build your identity around speed. Use it.
My favorite part of the flying V has always been that it is wildly offside.
Yeah, it's not a play you can actually run.
Love it though. Love the idea.
Okay, so look, the Avs need to use their speed. These days, when it comes to buying a home, you need to be pretty speedy. So Chevalier Mortgage has your back. Chevalier Mortgage's ultimate goal is to take the stress out of buying and refinancing. They strive to give the borrowers options with their full financial picture in mind and with the highest level of integrity, always putting their borrowers first. Something to keep in mind if you're already a homeowner, with prices going up, it's creating natural equity in your home. If you have mortgage insurance, chances are you can refinance out of that and make the bubble work for you. If you're in the buyer's market, obviously it's extremely stressful, but Mike is a certified financial planner, so they can look at everything going on with you and make sure you get the exact right home loan to get the home that you both want and need. So check them out today at dnvrmortgage.com. You can get a free consultation as well as a chance to win some free DNVR merch. That's dnvrmortgage.com, or you can call Virginia directly at 303-257-6578. Michael Chevalier, NMLS 1931006. Virginia Chevalier, NMLS 1910631. Then hit up Green Mountain Dental Group. They are the best family dentist in the Denver metro area, just 15 minutes from downtown in Lakewood. They're giving you a free Sonicare toothbrush when you schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam with them. So just hit them up, get the toothbrush, take care of your teeth. It's basic stuff here. You're probably doing this anyway. Why not get a free Sonicare toothbrush for your troubles and a great dentist to boot? Jump on it and check out Green Mountain Dental Group today. And of course, check out DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 rated sportsbook app out there. Right now, if you bet $1 on any NFL team to score a point, any amount of points, as long as they don't get shut out next week, you win $100 in free bets. So it's $100 to play with on DraftKings, where you can go bet on whatever you want, be it basketball, hockey, football, darts, rugby, you name it. You can bet on pretty much every single sport under the sun with DraftKings Sportsbook. And they're super easy to use. You can deposit and withdraw with it whenever you want. So you can put money in, take money out. That's what I've done. I got my free bets, cashed out, won a couple of them, took that money. Now I'm playing with house money on DraftKings, just having fun with it. Don't have to worry about the money side of it at all, really. Get a little bit of cash in there to do super slates and stuff like that. Maybe you'll hit one eventually and have a ton of money to play with. So
AJ hit 10 to 12 on week one.
Pretty close on a big 12-game week one. So one's gotta come through sometime this season. If we're starting off that hot, it's got to be the case. So yeah, come have some fun with us on DraftKings. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must live in in a state where you can legally bet as well. So make sure you do that. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Rudo, AJ, Jesse, talking about an Avs team that is clearly a bit hampered. There's nothing official on Sam Girard, but he did leave practice today with something. Expectations are he's gonna play probably Thursday based on what Bednar said, but nothing for sure yet. So maybe he misses Thursday, but it doesn't sound like he'll be out long term.
Yeah, so at practice yesterday, I noticed it and I almost tweeted something out about it, but he finished the practice, so I ended up not really thinking much of it. Sam Girard had a couple different times where in the middle of a drill, he'd skate hard for a puck and he'd kind of, lean over and wince a bit. They'd blow the whistle and you'd see him stretching out. It looked like it was something upper leg, thigh, groin area. Unfortunately, hopefully not. Like I said, he stretched it out a few times. He finished practice going at full speed. It was really kind of when the puck wasn't near him or in between drills, and I noticed him really, like I said, he seemed like he was in some level of discomfort. But he finished practice. Sounds like he should be. If it is a game, maybe it's just a game or two. I think maybe just at most a small tweak of something.
Okay. I think nothing too serious, certainly as an injury goes, based on that, and certainly Bednar didn't seem like it was going to be anything long term, and what little he did say about it. So, not gonna go too deep into it, but certainly right now the Avs just can't seem to shake this injury bug, top to bottom. At a certain point, yes, every team is going to go through adversity, right? Every team's going to face some level of injuries. But at what point does facing injuries become too much of a mountain to climb?
That changes every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they've got to be stacked pretty high for you to say, like, look, this is just something that, I mean, like, honestly, I go back to that Dallas series where
when you're starting your third goaltender, yeah.
Game 7 overtime, and Jared Bednar even talked about that after that. I think it was a couple days after the Game 7, not necessarily in the post game, but he was saying, like, look, the injuries we had, guys were not close to coming back. Had we found a way to get that next goal and get through, we would have been going up against a fully healthy Vegas team
with Michael Hutchinson still in
right, with Michael Hutchinson, this guy. And that's, to me, and I know that's the playoffs, but like, that's what your roster's got to look like, where you do just step back and go, look, this isn't even close to the actual team roster. Like, this may just, at this point, this is a different team. It may just be too much to overcome. The Avs have only had a couple games like that where the injuries have really been stacked for one game. What's been frustrating is exactly what's happening right now. It seems like for every guy that comes back into the lineup, another key guy goes out. And while it's frustrating to me, this is still stuff that you have to overcome. If you are a true contender, a true team that is built to go win a Stanley Cup, this is stuff that you have to prove you can overcome. Because right now the injuries suck. They're annoying. They're nagging, but you're getting enough guys back that you need to be able to overcome this to solidify yourself as, hey, we are one of these teams at the top of the league. They haven't played like it this year, but this is another chance for them to prove it, in my opinion.
All right. Another chance to prove it. Maybe that's what this team needs. This team needs to have a reason to prove something. Now's the time. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they're healthy, injured, whatever. They're 4-5-1, and they got to start winning hockey games. So,
yep.
I don't really have a ton to add other than that. Anything else you guys want to say? Final thoughts?
I don't have anything.
AJ, you good?
Super glad I wrote an in-depth piece that was made irrelevant by the Nathan MacKinnon news 3 hours later. That was great.
Go check out AJ's piece, though, because there is a bunch of super cool information about the Avs and their rough start in there. So check it out.
We're also on our second week of power rankings. AJ did last week. I took a shot at it this week. So that's a piece that AJ, after we got off our pod yesterday, he goes, hey, and if it takes you 3 hours, don't say I didn't warn you. And I was like, oh, I'm going to try to be a little less wordy. And even with me going shorter on a lot of my descriptions, those, they're definitely not quick. Cause once you start getting into that, there's just so much stuff that you realize you're juggling back and forth. But no, it was a ton of fun to write. So make sure you guys are keeping up with that every week.
Yeah. Great time to become a member of DNVR. Get that annual membership, get the free shirt, get big beers at the bar, a bunch of other stuff as well. Plus all of our content, that stuff's pretty cool too. Can read up about all the things on that Doggo Cam. Always a victory when you get Doggo Cam. So enjoy the Doggo chat. We love all of you. Thank you for watching, listening, however you consume the podcast. We will be back tomorrow with the post game on whatever happens against Vancouver for Colorado. We hope to see you at the bar or at very least in the chat of the post-game podcast. Until then, Jesse's dog. We'll talk to you later.